Life is a constant ebb and flow of unexpected moments, twists, turns, setbacks, and successes. We all face unpredictable circumstances, and it's easy to feel as though we're at the mercy of the world around us. However, one truth remains. While we cannot control the chaos that life often throws our way, we do have control over how we respond to it. Our reactions, thoughts, and decisions are ours to shape. This realization is powerful. It means that, in a world where external events are beyond our grasp, our ability to influence our own lives lies in how we choose to engage with those events. Taking ownership of our responses, our emotions, and our actions is a critical step toward true personal empowerment. By owning these aspects of ourselves, we can reshape our destinies and navigate through life with purpose, clarity, and inner peace. This idea is central to Stoic philosophy, an ancient school of thought that provides a framework for how we can take charge of our internal world, even if the external world is constantly shifting. At its core, Stoicism teaches that our power lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering our reactions and perceptions. The Stoics believed that through discipline, wisdom, and understanding, we can train ourselves to focus only on what we can control, our actions and our mindset, and let go of everything else. This approach, when fully embraced, can offer us profound peace and lead us toward a life of purpose, even in the midst of uncertainty. Stoic philosophy, rooted in ancient Greece and later developed in Rome, offers a powerful approach to life that emphasizes personal responsibility and resilience. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that there are two realms of existence: the external world, which is outside of our control, and our internal world, which is the one we can shape and master. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control the actions of others, the unfolding of events, or even the natural world, we do have complete control over how we interpret and react to them. The core principles of Stoicism revolve around virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. The Stoics argued that by cultivating these virtues, we can live in harmony with nature and our true selves. But perhaps the most transformative aspect of Stoicism is the belief in distinguishing between what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and what we cannot, everything else. This distinction gives us a profound sense of freedom. In practice, Stoics recommend focusing on the present moment, letting go of the past, and not worrying about the future. They emphasized resilience in the face of adversity, teaching that suffering arises from our attachment to external outcomes. By training ourselves to accept things as they are, without frustration or resistance, we can foster peace of mind. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement embodies the Stoic belief that our power lies in our response, not in the events themselves. Adopting Stoic thought is not about passively accepting life as it comes, but about becoming active participants in our own lives, choosing how we perceive and react to circumstances. In this way, Stoicism offers an empowering framework that can guide us through the complexities of daily living, helping us face challenges with resilience and clarity. Ownership is one of the most transformative concepts within Stoic philosophy. It's not just about taking responsibility for your actions, but about fully embracing your power to shape your life. In a world where external forces are often unpredictable, taking ownership means acknowledging that you are the architect of your experience, even when you cannot control the events around you. By owning your mindset, your emotions, and your actions, you actively participate in the unfolding of your own narrative. The Stoics viewed this ownership as a direct path to empowerment. Instead of being passive observers in our own lives, Stoicism urges us to engage proactively with every situation. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond, and that distinction alone is a game changer. When we take ownership of our reactions, We cease to be victims of circumstance and become active agents in our own lives. Contrast this with passive living, where external events dictate our mood, actions, and even our identity. In this mindset, we relinquish our power, allowing ourselves to be tossed about by the winds of fate. Stoicism pushes back against this passive approach, insisting that we must live with intention and awareness, engaging in life rather than waiting for it to unfold around us. We become the captains of our own ship, not at the mercy of the storm. Taking ownership also requires self-discipline and reflection. It's about being honest with ourselves, recognizing when we are, letting our emotions dictate our actions, and striving to align our behavior with our deeper values. When we take full responsibility for how we react, whether in moments of joy or adversity, we free ourselves from the need for external validation or approval. We start to live with authenticity, grounded in our own understanding of what is truly important. Ultimately, the power of ownership through Stoicism is about reclaiming control over our lives, becoming more present, and engaging with the world not as passive bystanders, but as active participants. It teaches us that while we cannot choose what happens to us, we can always choose how we respond, and that choice can radically shape our future. Challenges and setbacks are an unavoidable part of life. No one is immune to the curveballs that fate throws our way, whether it's a professional failure, a personal loss, or an unexpected twist in the road. In these moments, it's natural to want to retreat, to avoid discomfort, or to hope the problem will resolve itself. But Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson. Obstacles shouldn't be feared or avoided. They should be embraced as opportunities for growth. The Stoics viewed challenges not as burdens, but as essential elements of the human experience that allow us to grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, often wrote about how difficult situations could be used as a way to strengthen our character. In his famous Meditations, he reflects on how each challenge is a test of virtue, and how we can use adversity to refine our resilience, patience, and wisdom. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, Stoicism encourages us to see them as stepping stones toward personal development. When we face challenges with this mindset, we no longer view them as setbacks, but as a call to action. The key to navigating them is resilience, adapting, adjusting, and choosing how we respond. A practical way to approach challenges with a Stoic mindset is by first acknowledging the reality of the situation. By accepting that hardship is part of life, we remove the element of surprise and emotional turmoil. Then, we can shift our focus from the obstacle itself to how we can overcome it. Rather than becoming frustrated or overwhelmed, we can calmly and methodically seek solutions, using each challenge as an opportunity to hone our skills and build mental fortitude. Another Stoic technique is to break down large problems into smaller, more manageable parts. This approach not only makes daunting tasks seem less intimidating, but also provides us with clear action steps, empowering us to take control of the situation rather than feel victimized by it. Finally, embracing the concept of amor fati, loving one's fate, reminds us that even hardships are part of a greater design, and we should accept them with grace and equanimity. Mistakes and failures are often viewed as the antithesis of success, something to avoid at all costs. However, in the context of Stoicism, they are seen as an essential part of the learning process, an inevitable part of being human. Every mistake, no matter how big or small, holds a lesson that can lead to personal growth and wisdom. The Stoics embrace the idea that no one is perfect, and that failure is an inherent part of life. They understood that mistakes are not to be feared or resented, but to be used as tools for reflection and improvement. Epictetus famously said, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. This statement emphasizes that the challenges we face, including our failures, are the very things that shape our character and lead us toward greater wisdom. Rather than dwelling on mistakes, Stoicism teaches that we should face them with grace and humility. The key is not to be weighed down by guilt or shame, but to see mistakes as opportunities for self-examination. Each error provides us with an opportunity to ask, what went wrong? What can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? This process of reflection helps us to grow and move forward with greater knowledge and understanding. When we approach mistakes with this mindset, we begin to see them not as reflections of our inadequacy, but as necessary steps on the path to improvement. This Stoic perspective encourages us to avoid self-pity or frustration, and instead to embrace our imperfections as part of the human condition. By cultivating this mindset, we shift our focus from the fear of failure to the excitement of learning and growing with each experience. In practicing Stoicism, we recognize that mistakes are not a sign of defeat, but a signal of progress. With humility and grace, we turn failures into stepping stones, each one bringing us closer to becoming our best selves. One of the most crucial aspects of Stoic philosophy is learning how to manage one's expectations. Life often doesn't unfold as we envision it, and it's easy to become frustrated or disillusioned when things don't go according to plan. But by setting realistic expectations and preparing ourselves for the challenges that might arise, we can approach life with more resilience and peace of mind. The Stoics practiced what's known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves anticipating the difficulties and hardships that might come our way. Rather than being caught off guard by obstacles, Stoics deliberately imagine potential setbacks, so when they inevitably arise, they are less jarring. By mentally preparing for challenges, we not only reduce the emotional impact of difficult situations, but we also cultivate a mindset of acceptance and adaptability. This approach allows us to face adversity without panic, knowing that setbacks are simply a natural part of life. Premeditation is not about being pessimistic or expecting the worst, but about recognizing the unpredictable nature of life and being ready to meet it with calmness and equanimity. For example, if you're preparing for a big project at work, you might imagine potential roadblocks, delays, miscommunications, or setbacks. By acknowledging these possibilities in advance, you lessen their emotional sting when they happen and allow yourself to move forward more effectively. Another critical Stoic practice is setting realistic expectations. Stoicism teaches that our expectations should be grounded in reality, not in idealized or unrealistic outcomes. By aligning our expectations with what is actually within our control, our own actions and responses, we free ourselves from the frustration of unmet desires. The Stoic mindset encourages us to focus on the process rather than obsessing over the outcome. When we do this, we experience less disappointment and greater peace of mind, regardless of how things unfold. By managing our expectations, we not only reduce frustration, but also increase our capacity for resilience. Life will never go exactly as planned, but by preparing ourselves mentally and setting realistic goals, we can navigate its challenges with steadiness and grace. The Stoic approach to managing expectations helps us to embrace uncertainty with confidence, knowing that we have the inner strength to face whatever comes our way. Self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. In the fast-paced nature of modern life, it's easy to overlook the importance of pausing to reflect on our actions, choices, and experiences. But for those seeking to cultivate resilience, wisdom, and continuous self-improvement, regular self-reflection is essential. Stoicism, with its emphasis on personal responsibility and self-discipline, encourages reflection as a means of evaluating our progress and learning from both our successes and failures. The Stoics understood that in order to grow, we must constantly assess our actions and our responses to the world around us. Each day Marcus Aurelius would reflect on his thoughts, actions, and how he could be a better version of himself. This kind of daily examination provides an opportunity to course correct, to recognize where we have strayed from our values or made poor choices, and to celebrate where we've succeeded in living virtuously. By reflecting on our actions, we uncover patterns of behavior, both good and bad, that influence our outcomes. This awareness is the first step towards improvement. If we make a mistake, for instance, reflection helps us uncover why it happened and what we could have done differently. Similarly, when we succeed, reflection allows us to recognize the habits and decisions that led to that success, empowering us to replicate them in the future. Reflection is also critical to building resilience. In difficult times, taking a moment to reflect can help us reframe the situation and recognize our own strength. It's through reflection that we understand our capacity to overcome obstacles and can see how past struggles have contributed to our growth. Reflection helps us make sense of painful experiences and find meaning in them. This process builds emotional resilience, teaching us that hardship is not the end, but an opportunity for transformation. Ultimately, regular self-reflection ties into the Stoic quest for wisdom. By taking the time to examine our behavior, mindset, and responses, we create a feedback loop that fosters self-awareness and self-improvement, both of which are integral to living a fulfilling, virtuous life. While Stoicism is often associated with discipline and resilience, it is equally important to acknowledge the role of self-compassion in this philosophy. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to recognize what is within our control and what is not. However, in the pursuit of self-discipline, Stoicism also reminds us that we are human, prone to mistakes, and deserving of kindness, especially from ourselves. Self-compassion is the practice of treating oneself with the same care and understanding that one would offer a loved one in times of struggle. Stoicism encourages self-compassion in a very specific way, not as an excuse to indulge in self-pity, but as a necessary practice to maintain emotional well-being. It's easy to become self-critical when we fail, but the Stoics urge us to practice kindness toward ourselves when we fall short. In doing so, we prevent ourselves from spiraling into unnecessary guilt or frustration, both of which can be counterproductive. Self-compassion in Stoicism doesn't mean ignoring our flaws or avoiding personal growth. Rather, it is about accepting our imperfections with grace and recognizing that growth takes time. It's about being gentle with ourselves when we make mistakes, while also maintaining the commitment to improve. Epictetus spoke of the importance of understanding that we are all human and will inevitably face hardships. Therefore, we should not be overly harsh on ourselves in the face of failure. Furthermore, self-compassion balances with the Stoic ideal of self-discipline. While self-discipline urges us to push ourselves toward excellence, self-compassion ensures that we do so with kindness, acknowledging that setbacks are part of the process. This balance fosters emotional resilience. By practicing self-compassion, we can maintain a healthy mindset, avoid burnout, and continue to strive for improvement without the constant pressure of perfection. By embracing both self-discipline and self-compassion, Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes not from being perfect, but from accepting our humanity, learning from our mistakes, and continuing to grow with patience and kindness toward ourselves. Mindfulness is a powerful Stoic practice that is central to emotional control. In today's world, we often get swept up in our emotions, allowing them to dictate our reactions and behavior. However, Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to observe our emotions, detach from them, and choose our responses in a more measured way. Mindfulness, in this context, serves as a tool for cultivating emotional resilience. At its core, mindfulness is about being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment. The Stoics believe that while emotions themselves are natural, It's our reactions to them that determine the quality of our lives. Instead of being at the mercy of our feelings, mindfulness allows us to create space between our emotional responses and our actions. This practice of detachment allows us to observe emotions as they arise and to choose how we wish to respond, rather than being impulsively swept up in them. For instance, when faced with frustration, anger, or fear, mindfulness allows us to step back and evaluate the emotion without letting it control us. We can ask ourselves, what is the source of this emotion? Is it something I can control? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and virtues? By creating this distance between stimulus and reaction, mindfulness helps us act with intention rather than reaction. This practice is particularly useful in navigating difficult situations. Emotional resilience, which is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, is the ability to remain steady and composed in the face of adversity. Mindfulness strengthens this resilience by allowing us to keep our emotions in check. For example, in a stressful meeting or a personal disagreement, mindfulness helps us maintain composure, ensuring we respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Over time, this consistent practice builds emotional strength, making us less prone to being overwhelmed by negative emotions. Ultimately, mindfulness cultivates the ability to remain grounded and clear-headed in challenging circumstances, helping us navigate life's difficulties with a sense of purpose and emotional resilience. This Stoic practice of emotional control not only fosters peace of mind, but also allows us to respond to life's challenges with strength, clarity, and wisdom. Lifelong learning is one of the cornerstones of personal growth, and it is an idea deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. In an ever-changing world, the ability to continually learn, adapt, and grow is essential for maintaining both personal fulfillment and resilience. For the Stoics, wisdom was not a final destination, but a continuous journey, one that required dedication and openness to new experiences and challenges. The Stoics believed that the pursuit of wisdom is a never-ending process. They did not see wisdom as an intellectual achievement or a state of perfection, but rather as a way of life. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on his own shortcomings and his commitment to constant self-improvement. He viewed each day as an opportunity to learn more, to refine his character, and to understand himself and the world better. For the Stoics, growth was not something to be checked off once achieved, but a practice, an ongoing evolution of the mind and soul. This perspective connects seamlessly with the idea of adaptability. Life is full of unexpected shifts, and the ability to learn from these experiences, rather than resisting them, is a critical aspect of Stoic thought. Every challenge, every setback, offers us a chance to learn something new, whether it's about ourselves, others, or the world around us. By embracing these challenges as opportunities to grow and refine our character, we continue to expand our wisdom and adaptability. Adaptability, then, becomes a tool for lifelong learning. The more we embrace change and see it as a teacher, the more we develop the resilience to face the unknown. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but about welcoming it as part of the journey. The Stoic practice of amor fati, or loving one's fate, encourages us to embrace life's unpredictability and use it as a catalyst for self-discovery and growth. In this way, learning's not just about acquiring knowledge, but about cultivating a mindset that welcomes change and finds value in every experience. Humility is a fundamental virtue in Stoic philosophy, one that underpins the pursuit of wisdom. The Stoics believed that true wisdom begins with an acknowledgement of the limits of our own knowledge. Unlike the pursuit of knowledge for the sake of accumulation, Stoicism encourages us to recognize how little we truly know, and to approach life with a sense of openness and curiosity. Humility, for the Stoics, is not about thinking less of oneself, but about acknowledging the vastness of the world and the complexity of human experience. It involves recognizing that no matter how much we learn, there will always be more to understand, more to improve upon, and more to discover. This understanding of our own limitations creates an openness to new ideas and perspectives, which is essential for personal growth and wisdom. True wisdom, according to the Stoics, is found not in arrogance or certainty, but in the willingness to constantly learn, adapt, and improve. Epictetus, a leading Stoic philosopher, often spoke of the importance of recognizing our own ignorance and the need for continuous self-examination. The pursuit of wisdom is a process of constant refinement, and it's only through humility that we remain receptive to that process. Without humility, we risk becoming entrenched in our own beliefs and blind to the growth opportunities that come from new ideas or perspectives. Humility also allows us to embrace our mistakes and shortcomings as part of the learning process. Rather than resisting failure or viewing it as a personal indictment, humility encourages us to learn from it. It helps us approach challenges with grace, understanding that no one is perfect and that every experience, whether success or failure, holds valuable lessons for growth. In the pursuit of wisdom, humility fosters personal development by enabling us to stay open to new experiences and willing to refine our thinking. By embracing humility, we allow ourselves to be guided by a sense of curiosity and openness that leads to continuous learning and personal transformation. Through this mindset, we come to realize that the path to wisdom is not about reaching a final point, but about evolving every day into a more thoughtful, compassionate, and capable person. Integrating Stoic practices into daily life doesn't require grand gestures or radical changes. In fact, the beauty of Stoicism lies in its simplicity and practicality. By adopting a few key practices, anyone can begin to take ownership of their responses, manage expectations, and practice self-compassion. Here are some actionable tips for applying Stoic principles in your everyday routine. 1. Start your day with reflection. Begin each morning with a brief reflection on what the day might bring. Anticipate potential challenges and obstacles, a practice known as premeditatio malorum. By acknowledging possible setbacks in advance, you mentally prepare yourself to face them with calmness and resilience. This simple habit helps reduce emotional reactions and fosters a sense of control. 2. Take ownership of your actions. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. Practice taking full responsibility for your responses. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I control here? Focus on your behavior and mindset rather than the circumstances beyond your control. This shift in perspective fosters a sense of empowerment and ownership over your life. 3. Manage your expectations. Life is unpredictable, and managing your expectations helps you navigate challenges with more grace. Before you engage in any task or interaction, remind yourself that things may not go as planned. Setting realistic expectations allows you to remain steady and avoid unnecessary frustration when things don't unfold perfectly. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, especially when you make mistakes. Instead of criticizing yourself harshly, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. When you experience failure, ask, what can I learn from this? By acknowledging your imperfections without judgment, you can grow from your experiences without becoming weighed down by guilt or self-doubt. 5. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, set aside time to reflect on your actions, thoughts, and emotions. Consider where you succeeded and where you fell short. Ask yourself, what can I improve tomorrow? This regular self-assessment not only fosters self-awareness, but also helps you refine your responses and decisions moving forward. By incorporating these simple Stoic practices into your life, you can cultivate resilience, self-discipline, and emotional control, all of which are essential for living with purpose and inner peace. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a profound truth. While we cannot control life's events, we have the power to control how we react to them. The way we respond, think, and act defines our journey through life. The Stoic path teaches that personal mastery is not about controlling the world around us, but about cultivating a mindset that allows us to navigate life's unpredictability with wisdom, patience, and strength. By embracing Stoic principles, ownership of our reactions, managing our expectations, practicing self-compassion, and reflecting on our actions, we can transform our approach to challenges and setbacks. We may not always be able to change the circumstances we face, but we can choose how to respond, shaping our destiny one decision at a time. Remember, personal growth is a continuous journey, not a destination. Every challenge, every failure, and every success offers an opportunity for learning and growth. By adopting a Stoic mindset, you empower yourself to face life's uncertainties with confidence and resilience, knowing that your reactions and your mindset are yours to control. The path to personal mastery is ongoing, but it is through this practice that we find meaning, fulfillment, and the wisdom to navigate whatever comes our way.